why your feet feel cold, numb, or heavy, and why it's not just old age. Your feet start getting cold, numb, or buzzing not simply because the years have added up. The real reason is that blood is no longer reaching them the way it should. Once you begin noticing this, it means your body has already been sending warning signs for quite a while, and you may have brushed them aside for too long. After age 60, poor leg circulation isn't a trivial matter or some harmless sign of getting older, as people often tell themselves to feel better. It's a direct path to pain, nighttime cramps, weakness when walking, and eventually to trophic skin changes. The skin thins out. Even tiny scratches heal slowly or not at all, and a short walk turns into real hardship. None of this appears out of nowhere. It creeps in quietly. First as a sense of heaviness in the evenings, the urge to sit down more often, the desire to kick off your shoes and give your legs a break. Let me say this plainly and calmly. In the great majority of cases, you can turn this around. Not primarily with pills, and not necessarily with complicated treatments. The starting point is what you drink every single day. Blood isn't some vague concept. It's a liquid. Its fluidity, thickness, and ability to flow through tiny vessels depend directly on what you put into your body through drinking. With age, blood naturally becomes thicker. That's basic physiology. Fluid balance shifts, thirst signals weaken, kidneys conserve water more tightly, and blood vessels lose flexibility. As a result, most people drink less than their body actually needs, often without even realizing it. Then the chain reaction begins. Slower blood flow, less oxygen delivered to the small vessels in the leg's tissues start to starve. That's exactly why your feet feel cold even indoors in a warm room, and why they sometimes seem to belong to someone else. Here's the key point to understand. Legs suffer first because they're the farthest from the heart. The heart can still manage to supply the brain and internal organs reasonably well, but the feet get whatever is left over. If you don't actively support the system, the body prioritizes resources away from comfort. Lots of people believe that tea, coffee, and soup are enough to stay hydrated. That's a dangerous misconception. Strong coffee and black tea act as diuretics. They don't replenish fluid. Very often they increase fluid loss. So you feel like you're drinking plenty, yet your blood keeps getting thicker and the symptoms persist. Later in this talk, I'll tell you about the single most important drink that almost no one takes seriously, yet it can dramatically improve leg circulation, even at a very advanced age. Most people either prepare it incorrectly or don't think it's worth bothering with at all. That's a serious mistake. For now, just grasp the main idea. We're not masking symptoms. We're gently restoring blood's natural ability to move properly, respectfully, without aggressive interventions, taking age and the body's resources into account. Pay attention to one simple sign. If your legs look and feel fairly normal in the morning but swell, grow heavy, and make shoes feel tighter by evening, that's already venous stasis, not mere fatigue. It's a clear message that fluid isn't circulating the way it should, and your drinking habits play the central role here. There's another detail people rarely mention. After a certain age, the sensation of thirst becomes much duller. You can genuinely feel no desire to drink while actually living in a state of chronic mild dehydration. The body doesn't shout, it whispers. If you haven't learned to hear those quiet signals, vascular problems will steadily worsen. I always tell my patients the same thing. Better circulation doesn't start in the pharmacy. It starts in the kitchen, with what's on your table, what you pour into your cup, and how consistently you do it. If you truly want your legs to feel alive, warm, and responsive again, listen carefully. What comes next are things you can start doing tomorrow, safely, and without any complexity. How to drink correctly, quantity, timing, temperature, plus supportive drinks for vessel walls and veins. Many people's first thought when blood thickens and slows is simply drink more water. That's where the most common mistake hides. The reason so many people over 60 see little or no improvement. It's not only about the total amount, it's about how and when you drink. A mature adult body, especially after 60, doesn't handle large dumps of fluid well. Gulping down 1 or 2 full glasses at once sends most of that water straight through the kidneys. Blood barely has time to use it. You end up visiting the bathroom more often, but your feet stay cold and heavy. Circulation improves only when fluid enters slowly and steadily. This is the exact principle used in hospitals when treating elderly patients with vascular issues. Small amounts, but frequently, not to catch up, but to maintain. A straightforward scientific fact: blood viscosity depends directly on plasma volume. When plasma water is low, red blood cells literally rub against each other, slowing movement, especially in the tiniest capillaries that feed the feet and lower legs. Larger arteries may still cope, the microvessels cannot. Studies show that even mild dehydration, just 1% of body weight, already impairs microcirculation. You may not feel obvious thirst, but your legs notice first. Practical tip after age 60. Aim to drink every 30 to 40 minutes, not a full glass, just 2 to 3 small sips. This creates a steady background of fluid thinness. The heart pumps more easily, vessels let blood through more smoothly, tissues receive oxygen better. Notice this: when people start drinking this way, nighttime leg cramps often lessen within 5 to 7 days. That's no coincidence. Cramps are an early sign of poor blood supply and electrolyte imbalance. Plain water is the foundation. Another frequent error: saving most drinking for the evening because the day is busy. For leg vessels, that's almost useless. During the day, when you're moving, standing, walking, is exactly when blood needs to stay fluid. That's when venous pooling builds if hydration is lacking. Simple rule: get the bulk of your fluids before 5 to 6 p.m. In the evening, drink modestly so you don't overload the kidneys or trigger big swells. About temperature: cold water triggers a short vessel spasm. In young people, it's minor. After 60, it's noticeable. To help your legs, keep drinks at room temperature or slightly warm. That lowers vascular resistance and eases flow. Tiny action to try tomorrow: keep a small cup or glass, 150 to 200 milliliters, nearby and take a few sips every half hour, gently, without forcing a schedule. Within a week, you'll likely notice your legs feel lighter by evening. Water is only the base. Some drinks go deeper. They don't just thin blood. They strengthen vessel walls, reduce inflammation, and especially benefit the lower limbs. Once you've established good basic hydration and blood is no longer chronically thick, the next weak link becomes visible: the condition of the vessel walls themselves. Many people over 60 feel disappointed here. They drink water, yet legs still tire, chill, and swell. That means the issue has moved beyond fluid volume to the pipes the fluid travels through. Age makes vessels stiffer, not a disease, but the accumulated result of decades: high glucose, low-grade inflammation, blood pressure swings, past smoking, inactivity. All of it hardens the vessel wall and makes it less responsive. Blood can be thin enough, but if the vessel won't open properly, little changes. That's where drinks that support the endothelium, the inner vessel lining, become crucial. These aren't exotic supplements or advertised products. They're well-studied items from decades of cardiology and gerontology research. First thing to consider: mild herbal drinks rich in polyphenol. Polyphenol reduce chronic inflammation in vessel walls and improve how vessels respond to flow. Better response equals easier blood delivery to the feet. One of the best researched options is weak green tea, not strong and not in huge volumes. In moderate amounts between meals, it reduces platelet clumping, less sticky blood cells, while improving endothelial function. That matters a great deal for the small leg vessels. Scientific evidence links regular moderate green tea to better microcirculation and lower risk of peripheral vascular problems. Keyword: moderate. Strong tea all day long backfires because of caffeine. Another often overlooked choice, rosehip decoction. This isn't just grandma's remedy. It's a gentle, natural source of vitamin C that helps build collagen, the foundation of vessel strength and elasticity. Without enough collagen, vessels become fragile, respond poorly to load, and tire quickly. Vitamin C from rosehip works differently than pills. It arrives slowly, together with bioflavonoids that amplify its vessel-specific effects. The result isn't instant, but it's stable. After 2 to 3 weeks, many people notice less evening heaviness in the legs. Important nuance: don't mix everything at once. After 60, the body reacts poorly to sudden shifts. Pick one drink, make it a habit, observe for 7 to 10 days, then consider adding another. Tiny action: swap one daily tea or coffee for weak green tea or warm rosehip decoction. During the day, when legs fight gravity, not at night. Venous return, anti-inflammatory drinks. What to avoid, and the single most powerful habit. There's one more group of drinks that almost no one talks about, yet it directly affects venous return, how blood gets back up from the legs to the heart. When that process fails, no amount of plain water will stop swelling or the feeling of heavy, full calves. Most people focus only on arteries, getting blood down to the feet. After 60, the bigger problem is usually the opposite. Blood arrives, but struggles to return. That's venous stasis, the reason legs feel full, dense, and exhausted already by midday. Veins aren't passive tubes. They're a system with one-way valves. In youth, the valves snap shut efficiently, preventing backflow. With age, the valve system weakens, vein walls stretch, and blood begins pooling downward, causing swelling, skin discoloration, bursting sensation, and later nighttime pain. Venous health is extremely sensitive to blood composition and the fluid environment around cells. If the interstitial space is overloaded or lymph flow stalls, veins can't cope. Here enters a drink many dismiss as unimportant: still, or very lightly carbonated, mineral water with moderate mineralization. Why does it matter? Waters containing magnesium, calcium, and bicarbonates gently tone vessel walls and support venous valve function. Magnesium relaxes smooth muscle spasms. Calcium helps proper contractions. Bicarbonates balance pH, which affects both blood fluidity and endothelium health. Science confirms magnesium deficiency worsens venous insufficiency. With age, dietary magnesium absorption drops, but mineral water delivers it softly, without stomach overload or sharp spikes. Bonus effect: mineral water stimulates lymphatic drainage, the tissue drainage system. Poor lymph flow keeps fluid trapped in the legs even when heart and arteries are fine. That's why some people swell despite normal blood pressure and labs. Rule of thumb: no more than 1 glass at a time, sipped slowly. Best in the morning or midday, not evening, and not nonstop. Use in 10 to 14-day courses, then pause. Tiny action: replace one regular water serving with moderately mineralized water for 2 weeks. Often by the end of week 1, evening swelling decreases and legs feel softer without that internal pressure. Caution: if you have serious kidney issues or marked heart failure, check volume and type with your doctor. There's no one-size-fits-all here. Once blood fluidity, vessel wall support, and venous/lymphatic return are addressed, one last level remains, often overlooked: drinks that tackle chronic inflammation and blood viscosity at the same time. This factor frequently determines whether walking stays painful or becomes easier. When legs hurt during movement, people blame muscles or joints, but the root is often deeper: low-grade vascular inflammation. It doesn't flare dramatically, raise fever, or force you to bed. It quietly worsens flow year after year, making vessels sluggish and blood harder to push through narrow channels. After 60, this background, inflammaging, is almost always present, tied to oxidative stress buildup, altered fat and sugar metabolism, and micro damage to vessel linings. Unless you lower it, improved drinking habits alone won't deliver full results. Enter drinks with anti-inflammatory power that also enhance blood rheology, flow properties. One very physiological choice: water with a small amount of natural apple cider vinegar. Not straight acid, not vinegar therapy, just a weak solution. 1 teaspoon per glass, no more than once daily, sipped through a straw or followed by mouth rinsing. Why it helps? Apple cider vinegar supplies organic acids and polyphenol that reduce systemic inflammation and improve insulin sensitivity. Insulin resistance is a hidden driver of poor leg circulation. When cells respond poorly to insulin, microvessels suffer most. Data show regular weak vinegar solutions lower blood viscosity and boost peripheral flow. The effect builds slowly, but after 2 to 3 weeks, many find walking easier and legs less clogged on stairs. Note, this isn't suitable for everyone. Avoid it with gastritis, ulcers, or high stomach acid. Alternative: water with a tiny pinch of turmeric plus black pepper for absorption. Curcumin is among the most researched natural anti-inflammatories. It lowers pro-inflammatory cytokines and supports endothelial function. Especially valuable for leg vessels, which bear the brunt of chronic inflammation. Use this version in the afternoon after food, 3 to 4 times a week, not every day. It regulates rather than stimulates, working quietly but deeply. Tiny action: pick one of these options and trial it for 10 to 14 days, watching your body's response and leg condition closely. Less pain on walking and reduced stuffed feeling are early signs you're on the right track. Even with inflammation down and blood flowing better, one factor can still ruin progress. Drinks consumed for years that seem harmless but steadily damage leg circulation. Time to name what undermines everything. Even when someone drinks water and adds helpful beverages correctly. The most common culprits: sweet drinks, packaged juices, fruit drinks, compotes, even homemade ones. After 60, any fast sugar hits vessels hard. Glucose roughens the inner lining, blood sticks to walls, microcirculation worsens, hitting leg capillaries hardest. Even natural fruit sugar does the same. Liquid sugar is worse than solid food. It absorbs faster, spiking glucose and causing microinflammation with every spike. Science shows chronically elevated glucose, even within normal upper range, raises peripheral vascular risk. You may not have diabetes, but your legs already pay the price. Alcohol, even moderate amounts. The idea that a glass of wine opens vessels is a myth based on short-term effect only. Initial dilation is followed by rebound spasm, thicker blood, and worse venous pooling, especially bad for legs. Alcohol also dehydrates stealthily. No thirst, yet blood thickens. Legs often feel heavier the morning after. Strong black tea and coffee in large quantities. Not total ban, dose matters. Caffeine speeds heart rate, but constricts peripheral vessels. Young bodies compensate. After 60, they don't. Result: legs get less blood, especially at rest. If your feet turn colder after several strong cups, that's no accident. Quick impact action: cut sweet drinks completely and limit strong coffee/tea to 1 serving in the morning. Within a week, many notice less chilling and faster recovery after activity. Now we arrive at the single most powerful drink. Simple, rarely taken seriously, never advertised, yet it often produces the clearest improvement in leg circulation after 60. Ordinary warm water, but not just as hydration, as a regulator of vascular response. With age, one critical mechanism weakens: morning vascular adaptation. Overnight blood thickens naturally. No drinking, breathing shifts, metabolism slows. Young bodies readjust quickly on waking. Mature ones don't. That's why mornings bring stiffness, wooden legs, heaviness on first steps. Starting the day with coffee or tea gives a stimulant, but no real volume. Heart races, blood stays thick, extra strain on leg vessels, worse microcirculation. Key moment: 200 to 300 milliliters of warm water, body temperature, not hot or cold, sipped slowly on an empty stomach first thing. It gently dilates peripheral vessels, thins overnight blood, activates venous and lymphatic return, and primes vessel walls for the day's load. Temperature matters hugely. Warm water integrates into physiology without spasm or irritation. Studies in gerontology confirm consistent morning warm water improves peripheral blood flow metrics and reduces morning stiffness and swelling in older adults. No magic, just fluid physics and vessel biology. Try it as your very first drink for 14 days and check your legs afterward. Most people notice easier rising, less daytime heaviness, warmer feet in the evening. Results vary in speed, but the trend is almost always positive. Putting it all together, leg circulation after 60 isn't about one magic drink or single trick. It's a calm, consistent system. Regular small sips of water throughout the day. Drinks that reinforce vessel walls. Weak green tea, rosehip. Short courses of mineral water for veins and lymph. Anti-inflammatory options when needed. Strict removal of long-term vessel-damaging drinks. Warm water every morning as the daily foundation. Do this gently, without obsession, but regularly. And many people report they start truly living again, not merely moving their body from place to place. Age isn't a sentence for your vessels. It's a call for mindful care. After 60, the body no longer forgives chaos, but it responds beautifully to reasonable attention. If this conversation felt helpful, please support it, like, and subscribe. That lets calm, honest topics like this reach the people who truly need them. And if someone close to you has cold or painful legs, share this with them. Sometimes timely, simple information dramatically improves quality of life.